right? Because if you're thinking, how am I supposed to handle this overwhelm? How am I supposed to handle what's going on in the world? How do I do this? How do people do this? You increase your capacity. It's like you've got this little cup and everything is pouring into this cup and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't contain everything. It's going everywhere. It's making this mess. What do I do? I can't turn off the faucet. The faucet is the faucet. The faucet is life right now. We're going to take that little cup and we're going to make it a bucket so that as that gets poured in, you can process and filter and work with it. And that's what makes the difference. Working with your body, working with your hormones makes the difference and increases your capacity. You get a bigger bucket. Hey there, welcome to the Female Health Solution podcast, where we discuss women's health, hormones, and everything else in between. Join me as we dive into the tools that you need to live your healthiest life. Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to the Female Health Solution podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Beth Westy. We are going to talk about hormonal burnout. Yeah, this is a big thing. Why are women just feeling so stressed, so overwhelmed, so exhausted right now? How could we not? No. It's one of those things that it can build and grow, and then all of a sudden, things happen in the world, in your life, and you reach a breaking point. You reach a breaking point. And what's really interesting and why I wanted to talk about this, and also mention, of course, that we have a 5-day coming up. So make sure you get linked into that. Make sure you check the show notes and that you join us, because we're going to be covering all this stuff and how to battle this and how to really work with your hormones, reconnect with your body, feel more energized, feel more like yourself than you have in a long time. And this is going to set you on a much better path moving forward overall. So this burnout, this hormonal burnout, we just feel fried. And you can wake up every day and have the best intentions. Oh, I'm going to do it today. I'm going to do it. I'm going to get going. It's going to be different. This is going to be great. I've set myself up for success. I meal planned, or I got my stuff ready to go to the gym, and you're thinking, I'm going to do awesome today. And then life happens. And then life happens again. And then you're like, okay. I feel like I've just been getting served turd sandwich after turd sandwich. And can we please stop ordering this dish? Hello? Right? Your system can only take so much. Your system can only handle so much before it reaches a breaking point. And one of the things that happens is that we just get overloaded. And then all of a sudden, any little thing irritates us, right? If you trip and fall and skin your knee, right? And you've got road rash, any little bump is going to hurt like hell. Whereas if you bump your knee on the coffee table getting up from the couch, normally, no big deal. Oh, you might notice it. Oh, that's a little sore. Oh, okay. As we say in Minnesota, let me squeeze by ya. Little table. Oh, sorry, buddy. To the table, yes. But when you've got that skinned knee and everything is raw and open and you're vulnerable, that's when it hurts 10 times more. And besides just waiting for time to pass, besides just hoping that things will get better, it's important that you understand there are a lot of things that you can do to proactively shift and change this, to protect yourself, to feel better, to function better. So you are not stuck in the same spot tomorrow, next week, next month. Because I got to tell you, it has been piling on for a lot of people. The conversations I have with women every day are that of, okay, I had this really stressful summer event. This person in my family got really ill, or I got a divorce, or I had to move, or, this big life thing happened and I was planning on having a relaxing summer and it ended up not being relaxing. And this ended up happening and I had to take care of this. And now we're coming into fall. And as I'm recording this right now, there is damage from a hurricane, and there's another hurricane on its way. So when you guys listen to this, you're already going to know what happened because of the other hurricane. and the towns and cities. And I know women personally that live in these areas that their homes have been damaged. Their towns have been wiped out. And when I say wiped out, like there's no school there for the kids to go to school at. That's on top of everything else, right? It's mind blowing how devastating some of this can be. And then let's look at other things in the world, right? Like, okay, there's natural disasters happening. It feels like left, right, and center. There are political things going on. Political things going on that are also very stressful to watch. And that ties into the economy, right? There's, inflation and gas prices and everything else. And then, of course, it always ends up being, well, something needs to be fixed or something something breaks down or whatever, right? I remember, this was not that long ago. My dog Gary got a bone stuck, and I was like, oh, this is so great. I was literally thinking, like, oh, I have some extra cash and had budgeted. And I was like, oh, I can take my family on this, like, a fun weekend trip. Doesn't need to be very far, but we can go and have a good time as a family, spend some time together. And I was planning on doing that this summer. Well, you know where that budget went? It went to the emergency veterinarian for the surgical procedure that Gary had to have, and the 2 days he spent in the ER, the animal ER. That's where that went. I mean, I feel really lucky that I had the money for it. Otherwise, like, he wouldn't have made it, right? But this is where a lot of people are at with things. It's just so stressful. Um and it becomes overwhelming when you're looking at everything external, and then it becomes the little things within your home that can feel that much more taxing. Daily activities, figuring out what's for dinner. And then if you're like, I can't do it, I'm ordering pizza for everybody because I can't handle it anymore. And then you feel guilty and bad that you ordered pizza, and then your stomach hurts later, and then you feel sluggish the next day and puffy and bloated and everything. And you're like, oh, I know I shouldn't have ordered pizza, but I just needed a break. I can't win here. What do I do? This is where the 5-day comes in, because we are going to give you a guidance and an outline and everything to follow. This is what's going to help set you off on the right foot. Get ahead of the game and really focus on you. You can't control or change any of these crazy things happening in the world. It is what it is. It is going to be, right, what it's going to be. And it's super helpful to be able to focus on what you can control and say, okay, I am going to focus on becoming my healthiest self, becoming my most resilient self. I'm going to focus on being able to manage my own emotional response so that I can be a safe space for my loved ones. When you are grounded, when you are regulated, when you are just feeling better, you can help everybody else. The rising tide lifts all boats. Women are the tide. We run our households. We are the ones that everybody turns to when something's going wrong. We are expected to keep all the plates spinning, and then also handle the plates that are thrown at us. How do we do that? We work on ourselves first. It is not a surprise that more and more women every day are recommended different types of antidepressants or anti-anxiety or other things like that, or realizing that they have chronic illnesses, or they're worried about autoimmune issues, or they're worried about other things based on their health because of the stress that we are under on a daily basis. And that impacts our hormones. And then when our hormones are off, it impacts our energy levels, our repair, our libidos, our mood, all of it. All of it. There's no way that you can regulate your mood. And it's almost ridiculous to expect your system to be so regulated off of nothing, off of like, the world is on fire. I'm fine. Everything's fine. And not to have a response or reaction, right? When things go on, if your hormones are completely out of whack. And you know what that feels like when you're in that space, right? It is really the little things where somebody says something or somebody seems dissatisfied, or you try and make a dinner and maybe one of your kids doesn't like it and they're like, "Oh, mom, this doesn't taste very good," or "I don't like this." And you're like, "Oh my gosh, if I hear one more person complain off of the effort and energy that I put in, I can't even take it anymore." And you know that you don't want to lash out and you know that you don't want to be resentful about what they said, but it can feel very hurtful when you are already stretched to the max. Again, this is where getting your footing is helpful. And we start this in the 5-day. We start by making sure you get enough base nutrient in to fuel your body to fight that fatigue. Getting enough minerals in, right? Making sure that you're not actually over exercising. That's a big thing that we're going to talk about. And then we're going to dive into the hormonal pieces as well. What does it mean when your libido is off? What does it mean when you have facial hair? What does it mean when you have patches of acne as an adult? What does it mean when your digestive system fluctuates throughout the month? Yeah. How can we battle these things, right? What does it mean when you have hot flashes? And what if they're not necessarily night sweats at night, but hot flashes during the day? What does it mean when you have these sleep disturbances, right? What if you're like, "Oh my gosh, I am not sure if my hormones are so off, or am I going into perimenopause early? What's happening to my body?" We are going to dive into all of this, what to look for, what to target, and how to move through this in the 5-day. And it's a free 5-day. This is my goal here, is to help women reset, because so many people are struggling right now. And I want to reach as many women as I can to get them this message that there are a lot of things, little things that you can do that are going to make a big difference in how you feel and how your hormones respond. Yeah. The other thing that a lot of women have a hard time with is brain fog. Brain fog, memory issues, and feeling like you're just mentally fuzzy. "Oh yeah, I used to be on top of it. I used to be able to I was super sharp. And now if I don't write it down, I can't remember it all. I feel like I'm going crazy with some of this stuff." No, you're not. It's your hormones. It's your hormones. One of my favorite things that I hear women say when we work on hormones and everything overall is they'll talk about, "Oh my gosh, I not only feel better and I've got more energy, but I am just sharp. I am so much sharper." And it's like a light switch that was on dim before, and now it brightens everything. Everything becomes more clear. You can handle things better. Your mental process is quicker. You can make executive decisions faster. And what else that means is that it means that no matter what stressors come your way, you can handle it better, right? Because if you're thinking, "How am I supposed to handle this overwhelm? How am I supposed to handle what's going on in the world? How do I do this? How do people do this?" You increase your capacity. It's like you've got this little cup and everything is pouring into this cup and you're like, "Oh my gosh, I can't contain everything. It's going everywhere. It's making this mess. What do I do? I can't turn off the faucet." The faucet is the faucet. The faucet is life right now. We're going to take that little cup and we're going to make it a bucket, so that as that gets poured in, you can process and filter and work with it. And that's what makes the difference. Working with your body, working with your hormones makes the difference and increases your capacity. You get a bigger bucket. I love going through this. The shifts, the changes, big and small things that women experience. Again, all the way from I just feel better. That's the number one thing I hear whenever I start working with women. "I don't know what it is. I just feel better." And I'm like, "Awesome." But having less brain fog, more mental clarity, having more energy, not having a bad slump in the afternoon, having more energy to do daily tasks, things like that. Again, those things are going to help your capacity for whatever comes in. Not having as much mood swing, having less bloat and digestive issues, right? All of these things. And then also knowing that, wow, I'm on the right track with this. I'm feeling better. And I'm also not starving myself, right? I'm not like restricting things and expecting to be able to continue to get results. These are all very, very easy things to incorporate that you can keep doing long term. That means that the benefit is just going to keep coming. So, I'm going to talk more about this in other podcasts that I have coming up, but I'm so excited to have you guys join us. Please let me know if you have any questions. Please let me know if you need any other help, or if you're finding this podcast and you're like, oh my gosh, I have more questions about this thing. Do not hesitate to reach out to me. I hear from women every day from all over the world because this is unfortunately a ubiquitous issue. So please reach out to me. But again, go in the show notes, click that link, or go below this video. Make sure you are getting the information, joining us for this free 5-day and getting things under control. You have the ability, you have the capacity. I'm so excited to see you there. Let me know if you need anything else. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for joining me on today's episode. If you would like more information, just head on over to drbethwesty.com for all the show notes and information from today's episode. And if you're looking for more community, more support, you can find and follow me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and I would love to see you there.